Ciao ragazzi! Today's video tutorial is to help you with the passato prossimo with essere. Now just to pick up where we left off with passato prossimo, here's a very quick review of the passato prossimo with avere, which you already learned last year. And in fact, this sentence right here even says that, so I'll read it to you. Avete imparato il passato prossimo con avere l'anno scorso. And right here at the beginning of the sentence, you actually have a verb conjugated in passato prossimo because we're talking about a past action or event, something that happened and it wasn't an ongoing action, and we can, in that situation, definitely use passato prossimo to describe it. So, the way that I conjugated this verb, imparare, was I started with a helping verb, which was a form of avere. And since I'm talking about all of you guys, I conjugated it voi avete. And then my verb imparare, I took off the normal are ending and I just put this past participle ending ato since it's an are verb. For an ere verb I would use uto, and for an ire verb I would use ito. So avete imparato, you all have learned il passato prossimo con avere l'anno scorso, last year. So today you're going to learn about how and why to use essere as your helping verb. So here we have a little example. The question that would be asked here is Dove siete andati ieri? Where did you all go yesterday? And notice that to conjugate siete andati, you all went or you all go, you have the helping verb essere conjugated voi, and you also have something a little bit different with the verb andare. So just like when my past participle is the way you learned it before in verbs that take avere as the helping verb, you still can use these endings ato, uto, ito if the verb's regular, but you have to do something different here. You have to make the agreement masculine, feminine, singular, plural. So my question, where did you guys go yesterday? I need this to be masculine plural since, as you can see in the picture, I'm talking to both boys and girls. So let's take a look at some of the responses. Io sono andato alla gelateria. Io sono andata alla biblioteca. Noi siamo andate a casa. So as you can see here, the endings agree in each of these statements just the same way that they did in the question. Where did you all go? You all includes boys and girls, so I made this masculine plural, andati. In this boy's answer, he says sono andato, because it's just one person, and he's a boy. In this girl's answer, sono andata, because she's a girl, just one person. And these two girls answer, noi siamo andate, we went. And they're both girls, so feminine plural. All right, and just to, I'm sure you guys already know this, but just to really quickly review, essere means to be, and here are your conjugations. Io sono, tu sei, lui, lei, è, noi siamo, voi siete, loro sono. Okay, and here's how we form our structure. Certain verbs have helping verb essere. Regular verbs still have the ato, uto, ito endings, but the last letter must agree in gender and number. So masculine singular, lui è andato. Or if you're talking about yourself, you would say io sono andato. Or if you're talking to somebody, you would say tu sei andato. For a girl, lei è andata. Same with, I personally would say io sono andata. Or if I'm talking directly to a girl, I would say tu sei andata. And then for plural, whether it's all boys or a mix of boys and girls, you could say loro sono andati, noi siamo andati, voi siete andati. And if it's only girls, plural, then you could say loro sono andate, noi siamo andate, voi siete andate. Okay, and here's a important question. How do you know which verbs you have to do this with? Like, why should you use essere as a helping verb instead of avere? So the good thing about this is that the majority of verbs take avere as the helping verb. And so the way that you would know which ones are going to take essere instead, well, there's pretty much a set of very common verbs that you can just study. in order to know when you should use it. And this graphic I like a lot. It's used in a lot of different Italian books, and it's actually also used in teaching other Romance languages because they have this same structure of the two different helping verbs and the same situation when you would use the verb to be instead of the verb to have. So let's take a look at the verbs that are included in La Casa di Essere. And then we'll talk about some of the categories that these verbs fall into. So you see here somebody leaving, and the verbs andare, partire, uscire. Andare, of course, you know means to go. Partire, to leave. And uscire is very similar to andare, but it means to go out. And then the opposite of those verbs, you've got venire, entrare, tornare or ritornare, arrivare, all verbs having to do with returning or coming back or entering the house. Then you've got, of course, here the verb essere, which you would, if the verb is essere, to be, and you need to say was or has been, you would definitely still use essere as your helping verb. Okay, so next in the house you've got salire and scendere, to go up and to go down. You've got stare, to stay or to be. Rimanere, restare, both mean to stay or to remain. And vivere, to live. You've got nascere, to be born. Diventare, to become. Cadere, to fall. And morire, to die. So, some of the categories that you can say that these verbs fit into is that they're verbs that have to do with movement in terms of coming and going, or salire and scendere. These verbs would be used not only for talking about going up and down stairs, but also for going on or off of a bus or a train, or climbing like a mountain or something. You can use salire and scendere. So all of these verbs that have directly to do with movement, like coming and going, change in location. And then you've got these verbs that have to do with state of being and living. So state of being, like stare, diventare, vivere, and living, like cadere o vivere tu, morire, nascere. These are the main categories for verbs that are going to fall under the category of need to be conjugated with essere. Okay, and here are some verbs that you definitely need to know. These are the same ones that are in the house of essere. This is just a different way of looking at them in list form. So I'll go through each of them with you. And notice that there's a star here to tell you if it has an irregular past participle. So we'll go through those together. Andare, it has a regular past participle, so it's just andato. Partire, regular past participle, so drop the ire, the ending should be ito, and you get partito. Uscire means to go out. It has a regular past participle of uscito. Venire, this one has an irregular past participle that's not very irregular looking, venuto, but it's irregular because this is an IRE verb, and usually an IRE ending is ito. And this uto is generally the ERE ending, well, always the ERE ending. So venuto is a little bit irregular. Entrare, regular, entrato. Tornare or ritornare would be tornato or ritornato. Arrivare, arrivato. Salire, salito. Scendere is irregular, sceso. Essere, this is irregular, and you're going to have to think about this one a little bit. The past participle is stato, which is the same as our next verb, stare. So, as you know, essere means to be, and stare means to be or to stay. And when you talk about either one of these verbs in passato prossimo, so a past action or event, something that just was like a one time it happened, not an ongoing event in the past, not talking about every day it used to be, just an event. They are actually going to be the same in passato prossimo. There's really no reason to distinguish between essere and stare for a past event. So they have the same past participle. Okay, rimanere has an irregular past participle of rimasto, restare, restato, vivere, vissuto, nascere, nato. Maybe you remember this from a sixth grade domande dello studente. Um, Quando sei nato? Dove sei nato? Where were you born? You've got diventare, diventato, cadere, caduto, morire, morto. All right, so here's a practice for you. Complete the sentence. I'd like you to say or ask the question, at what time did you arrive at school today? So you can go ahead and pause your video. Okay, your sentence that you came up with should say, a che ora sei arrivato a scuola oggi? Or if you're talking to a girl, it could be, a che ora sei arrivata a scuola oggi? And here's another example for you. Le ragazze, so the girls. We're going to use andare to say when, and we know that because at the end here it says yesterday. So the girls went to the movies yesterday. So you can go ahead and pause your video. How would you make the sentence? Okay, and your sentence should say, le ragazze sono andate al cinema ieri. Don't forget to make that feminine plural, andate, for le ragazze. All right, and here are some more practice examples for you. You'll see a panel pop up on the side that'll ask you each one, so you can write in your answer, and you don't have to copy down the whole sentence. You can just put the helping verb form of essere and your past participle. And just don't forget, make sure that it agrees in gender and number with the subject. In bocca al lupo.